onto gloves before. Okay? It does happen. Don't ask me why. I mean, didn't want to put another set of gloves on, so I tried to clean the first glove off. Because what happens when you're working a good call?
Oh,
It's sweaty.
We talked about double gloving it, right?
Because then you can't put another pair of gloves.
Right, you can't get the gloves back on. Right? So you can't get the second glove on because your hands are all sweaty. So then how do you get that second pair of gloves on?
Force it.
No,
Yeah, like-
never force it.
Like, you have the claw.
You never force it, okay? Nice try. Okay? Alcohol dries your hands, right? So you gotta put the hand sanitizer on, then you gotta do this little thing to try and get your hand to dry out, right? Does it dry out enough?
No.
So you come up about that much short, right? So you still can't get your fingers all the way in. We're all adults here. You guys can just focus for just like 10 more minutes.
They are focused.
I know. Focus on one thing and one thing only every time in this class. Jeez. So, in order to get the glove all the way on, so if you take it and you pull it back and you actually blow air into it, okay? Focus, people, focus. We're almost there. We're getting it, okay? Stop. Hey, Janae, over the table. Go have a seat in the table.
We'll have the
Now we can all see her.
You gotta make sure nobody comes in during the rest of this conversation, apparently. Holy moly.
So we got it on.
Yeah, it's all on tape. That was Janae, by the way. Okay, so when you go to put the gloves on and you can't, the glove is stuck.
You can't force it.
No, Mom, that's an old one. We already did that one, okay? It's not funny the second time around. But you can put air into the glove by blowing into it. It opens up the glove away from your fingers, and then you can push the glove the rest of the way on, okay? And so now, what happens when you get your hand down in here? Your mouth down close, right?
All that blood. Well,
So now you got to be careful you didn't get any on your sleeves or anything like that, right? So you got to be very careful with how you're doing that. So that's why if you know you're going into something, throwing that second glove on is actually very, very helpful. The bad thing is your fingers end up like this because they're so gloved. Okay, so you have both gloves on, so it makes it a little bit harder. I just can't undo this, people. Get the gloves on. Yes. So two gloves.
Moving on. Okay, next slide.
N95s. N95s. This is for respiratory protection. We use this on most patients that have any sort of cough, congestion, anything like that. This is for us, right? This filters the air that we are breathing in. We do not put N95s on other patients. We put normal spit masks on them, okay? But N95s go on us. It's filtering the stuff. It filters TB, it filters everything. Do we use these enough? No. Absolutely not, right? Who likes being sick? Chandler, do you like being sick over the last week? Dude, that is like the worst. Like vomiting and diarrhea, like are the worst norovirus. Oh man, most horrific thing. I wish that you guys would all experience it once in your life, just for the sole purpose of understanding how important N95s are on calls. Like it is by far the worst 3 days of my life. Horrific, right?
why is it you don't put N95s on patients?
Because they're expensive. They add up, and you're not working on filtering their air.
Okay.
It's working just to filter yours. And so basically a simple spit mask on them is all that you need for them. Non-rebreather will work the same for them as well. Just something to control their droplet particles.
You have a picture of the N95?
No, we're just skipping that.
We have them, Noah.
Yeah,
There
You should
There you go.
tested on that.
you got to be
So you got your
fitted
N95s,
too.
you have to be fit tested on an annual basis. This is the hardest thing in the world to try and pass these stupid things for people that legitimately do fit testing. So you got to put them on, then you got to talk, and then you got to do your head bob and move back and forth and do all this stuff. And so like for me, like if I shave, like then it creates a open passageway like right beforehand, so even when I do my SCBA mask, so you're like, okay, talk, I'm like, right? I'm like not moving any of my jaw or anything like that, just to create that seal so it doesn't break. It takes like roughly 30 minutes to do the full test. If you fail it, then you gotta start over. So like when you're doing this thing and you gotta look down,
You mean, like, do they, if you failed, you get a different size of mask?
Yeah, there's different types.
yeah, so if you end up failing, they'll readjust your fit, they'll readjust the size of the mask, they'll do all kinds of different things in order to get you with the properly sized, fitted type of mask for you, okay?
He's been tested.
Okay, the national stockpile. We talked about this a little bit. So this is if some sort of major event happens and we need massive amounts of atropine, the 2-PAM kits, something like that. There's a timeline. Antibiotics has all that kind of stuff. You can see how it gets thrown into a truck and then it travels the United States. So 12 hours from the time that the incident occurs until it makes it to your state. Okay? And then 12 to 24 that the hospitals will have the supply. The idea is 24 to 36 pills will be able to get to the population and start being distributed to the people.
Pills in people.
Yep, so that's pretty quick, right? I mean, basically a day from the time something major happens to the time that this massive amount of stockpile makes it to your state and your door. So do you think there's one of these somewhere in the United States?
No.
Or do you think these are strategically placed throughout the United States?
Why can't they fly them?
Flown, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they can absolutely, but most of the time they're not gonna need to because they have so many of them strategically placed that it's just a quick, easy,
Like 12 or 15.
yeah, they're all over the place. And so do you know, you guys may or may not know that Eugene is like one of the most centrally west coast areas for North America? Did you know that?
So there's something here?
45th parallel?
Yeah, like right along
Salem?
just north on I-5. You drive by it every time you go to Portland or something, right?
What's that?
The 45th parallel,
The
right?
sign?
So we're like basically North America, you're right there. So the interesting thing is back a couple weeks ago, I think I told you guys that was it the AC-130s that came in with a 6-person crew that were just stationed at, they just came in and set up shop for 6 days at the Eugene Airport?
No?
Yeah, you guys had no clue, huh? So they are based out of Alaska. They had orders to come down and protect the western United States. Was that a weird order or what?
Were those big
Nah,
firefighter or
Nope, they're
Fighter
big
jets?
giant cargo planes. Okay, they're the humongous giant cargo planes. So it takes 6 people to fly the airplane, right?
Jesus.
Like it was pretty impressive watching this thing land and take off. Like to the point where like they came in.
They're getting the C5s. They're not C5s, are they?
I
What are they
don't know,
protecting us
they're the
from?
really big ones.
That's the C5.
Whatever it is, yeah. So 6 people to fly it, right? It lands here completely empty. They're like, hey, we need you to go down and protect the western U.S.
Why
And
is
they're
that?
like, protect. They're like, okay, kind of a weird thing. They came down here. It was when the tensions were pretty high with North Korea at the time.
6 days ago?
No. This was maybe a year ago.
Oh, okay.
But they came in, flew in at night. Nobody knew that they were here. Crew at the airport woke up in the morning. They were like, looked out and they're like, oh, what is this? They went out, started talking with them. So the crew just had to be within 4 hours of the plane. So they're like, hey, what can we do? Right? So what did the crew do? The crew went to the beach and they boogie boarded and then they went up on the mountain and played in the snow a little bit. They had mountain bikes. Like the whole cargo plane was full of recreational stuff. They came down from Anchorage, Alaska. Right?
No,
They just
this
had to be
is
with-
tropical.
Right, yeah, so they were all there having fun and enjoying it. They were there for, I want to say 4 or 5 days, and then they're like, yep, we're free to go and we're clear to leave. We're like, oh, all right. Well, that's a big airplane to have at the Eugene Airport, right? So when they go to leave, they called us and be like, hey, we're gonna need a few more pieces of apparatus out here for when it actually takes off, right? The airport, the airport's a little shorter, you know, you have to have certain apparatus for certain sizes of airplane, right? So they came in not having the protection that they should have because they didn't want anybody knowing that they were there. By the time they left, everybody knew they were there because there was this giant airplane sitting at the airport and everybody was out taking pictures. But it's those types of things where it's like you have this access to different resources that you don't even know occurs, so.
And then, so why was it empty? That means that we had something here that they were gonna load on it.
That's a good question. That's a good question. That's the thing, is you don't know, they're like, we need you at the G Airport because it's the most centrally located along the
Or they
North
just fuel up
American
and fly somewhere
West
else,
Coast.
yeah.
So, alright. Okay, cool. So finish this one up. Perfect little summary. Situational awareness, right, Josh? What are you always gonna do when you walk into a scene, Josh?
Look for fentanyl dust.
Look for fentanyl dust. No, we're gonna look for cocoa powder. Cocoa powder, protein powder. That's what we're looking for, okay? Know your hazards. Use your stuff to identify if something doesn't seem right, it's probably not. Understand what's the potential out there. Rapid thinking. We're still working on that with you guys, but eventually we'll get there, right? BLS stuff first, right? Grab them. Hey, Josh, I'm gonna save you. Noah's not. Or wait, oh no, Noah. We saved Noah. Josh left you hanging, right? Gotcha. Don't be part of the problem. Talk about my partner almost collapsing on that one. So don't. As soon as you realize something's up, communication. Now out you go. And last but not least, yeah, enjoy your EMS career. It's gonna be a short one for some of you. Just kidding. Psych. All right, cool. All right, that's what I got.